Travis Wayne Goodsell. There are people who are abused from birth, who do not know their capabilities in life because of their kidnapping. They're forced into a lifestyle that they therefore know no better. The FLDS Church, for example, they're raised up in the community with plural wives and leaders and no young men, no of breeding age. And so young women and even the boys who grow up in those communities don't understand that when the boys reach puberty, they're going to be cast out of the community, and that the girls, when they reach puberty, will be married off to the old creepy leaders. That is their lifestyle. That's all the kids know, and it's perpetuated generation after generation until the United States steps in and says, hey, you guys are breaking the law, stop it. But they don't see it as breaking the law because they were born and raised, this is our religious freedom. I've talked about having watched, or in the process of watching, The Pretender. The opening sequence for season 1, there are pretenders among us, geniuses with the ability to become anyone they want to be. In 1963, a corporation known as the Center isolated a young pretender named Jared and exploited his genius for their research. The best show of the top 10. Stargate is the best show, with Stargate Atlantis being the best of the best. But the show, each episode has Jared learning about something in our culture that we've taken for granted, and he finds amusing. And so the little monkey chain links, Pez, silly putty, etc., are all new experiences for him as an adult because he escaped. Then one day, their pretender ran away. And so he became aware that he's supposed to have a mother and father, and he's trying to search for them and meet up with them, and it's tear-jerking and all that stuff. But Mormons don't realize that that's the manner in which they are raised as well. The United States intended a public school system in which children would be taught sciences and literature, and put in humanities, which are your arts and your other humanities, to get a well-rounded, well-balanced education. And it's a threat to religions who believe in supernatural deities that have power over the wicked or over us as the righteous, and that we're the chosen ones, and that we're supposed to, smite the wicked and punish them as destroying angels. Danites. And so you have this clash in our government and in our societies of people wanting to remove science from the classrooms by force this time. It's a hostile takeover. And there is no sound reasoning for it other than it's our religious freedom. They really found something, didn't they? The church is a part of that. To be exempt from law. so they can believe whatever they want, and they can force their followers to do whatever they want them to do, believe whatever they want them to believe. And I did the video clip yesterday, which nobody appreciated. There were a lot of thumbs up, but not as many views in comparison on TWG. There was more on Travis Wayne Goodsell, as it's having to rebuild after YouTube destroyed it under orders of the church. But going back to Brigham Young's Wikipedia page, I found that they changed it again after they changed it in 2020 for the new author who published the book on Brigham Young. So, having the rewrite in 2020, I did both, if you noticed. Dear God, do you see how much I influence them? They don't want you to know about me. They want you to stay away from me. They've got the YouTube employee who's manipulated the algorithm program to make sure you don't come to my videos as best as possible. But when there's news stories about the church and about conference, they struggle. They have to actually commit crimes to stop me and my voice, my First Amendment right. But, I mean, dear God. And so, the other video I had done is about how our belief systems dictate the manner in which our life goes. And I hope it was very clear for the few who watched that video that with 45,000 different Christianity sects, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if the church got listed as one of those 45,000. That they're all different. They all believe that Jesus takes away agency of mankind, that mankind has to take away the agency of others. So for the church, the prophets are forced to do what Jesus wants them to do. They have no agency in the matter. Jesus gives the command, they must obey, and they take away our agency because it's Jesus, not them, as the religious leaders, to take away our agency. And then Mormons take away the agency of others in society. And nobody can figure out that this is wrong, huh? That it's Lucifer's plan of happiness that we're using. And because of it, in the church, everybody's waiting for Jesus to come back. And there are Mormons who are in the news who are trying to facilitate the coming back of Jesus. The church prophets, likewise, they're facilitating the coming of Jesus, having paid Putin for it. And mankind be damned. The children be damned. They call them zombie apocalypse people. Dear God. They're kids. And so I've tried to warn you guys and say, hey, the deeper you're brainwashed, the harder the faith crisis you're going to go through. The bigger the shock that you're going to experience when you are betrayed and you realize you are betrayed. And the pursuit of science, the pursuit of sound argument in our communication, so that we don't use fallacy arguments to justify a lobbying position for government laws. You know, the Democrats, for example, are purposely trying to segregate, and it's horrific that they don't see it. You don't create laws for every segregated group in our society. We're not supposed to be segregated. The Constitution already has it set up to protect everyone equally. We had to put in amendments for blacks and women because they were not considered human. But that's over, it's done with, and yet we still refuse to follow the Constitution. Life, liberty, property. Any violation of a person's life, liberty, and property is an automatic crime for which they should go to court, be judged, and sentenced. And yet the whole thing is just all screwed up because we want to segregate. We want to give special privileges, special laws for certain people and against certain people. And none of that is supposed to happen. None of that is in the Constitution. We have people that keep spouting off democracy is in danger as they abuse the definition of democracy. You know, they all claim that we all know and understand democracy. No, you don't. We're supposed to be a constitutional republic, not a socialist republic, not a representative republic. And if you don't even know what I'm talking about, exactly. Constitutional republic is not a democracy. It's a separate entity, a document that is set up to be equal for all, equally. Life, liberty, property. It's in there. That's it. We're done. Let's just make sure that everybody follows it now. And instead, you have people wanting to overthrow the government, like the church with religious freedom. They've got it! It's in the First Amendment. Why the hell do they want more? Except to overthrow other people's religious freedom, to be exempt from following the law, to take away the agency of others, 12-year-old girls specifically, for polygamy in the near future. And so, Zion. Other people call it utopia, other people call it nirvana, other people call it paradise. There are lots of different names for it. Mormons call it Zion. It's also New Jerusalem. And Mormons just don't understand this concept of correct beliefs lead to the correct consequences that you're hoping for. If you have an incorrect belief, you're never going to get the goal. And nobody even bothers to try to experiment on the belief to find out if it's true or not. And so I keep warning over and over again. If there is no fall of the great and abominable church, there will be no Exodus. If there is no Exodus, there will be no Zion. If there is no Zion, there is no peace, safety, and refuge. It ain't gonna happen. I can't just speak flowery words of, oh yay, peace and happiness in Zion, we're all gonna be happy, things are gonna be great, it's gonna be perfect. Yeah, well, if you have people that don't even believe in perfection, who have this belief that capitalism is the greatest economic system the world has ever created, and we can improve upon it, and that's the best it'll be, or if you're thinking like a person who came to my channel and says, I love paying tithing, I want to pay more tithing, and I can't wait until the law of consecration. Did you see the video where I go over the law of consecration pre-1991? We lose our agency. It's communism. Everything belongs to the state, the church, the priesthood. We do not own anything. We have to labor for the church. We labor all our lives, sweating, suffering, so that the church can remain prosperous, so that they can build lavish buildings. And the prophets, well, you know, they work the hardest sitting on their thrones, so they have to be rewarded. That's the law of consecration. That's not what is set up for in the scriptures by Joseph Smith. After talking about priestcraft, Zion is understood as the people of Zion, not the structure, not the organization, not the buildings, not the power, not the authority. It is the people that make up Zion. And so you build for the people. You make for the people. They, in return, make for you. There is no money involved, no barter system, no kind of trade of any kind, not even Bitcoin, which is the biggest scam, and yet our government's now pushing it. It's a pyramid scheme. It will collapse. It can be controlled and manipulated. But hey, our government's now involved with it. Great, we're all doomed. A greater division of wealthy versus poor, and in this case, we have the poor with absolutely nothing now. No change to give them when they're panhandling. Oh, sorry, it's all in Bitcoin. I can't give you any. And so destitution is going to be the result of Bitcoin economy. With no salvation, no recovery. But hey, you're being suckered into making the owners more money. They were collapsing, and then you went and gave them all your money, as they're now pushing for it. So the gardeners are here. We don't have much long to live anyway. Governor Cox said that prayer worked last year. Oh my God. Is he older than I am? Because he seems like a naive, rising generation Mormon. It's the Mormon trend of shaving your head. And I don't think he did it for cancer purposes. They're just Mormons who shave their heads to shave their heads. It arose, I noticed, after Bruce Willis's movie where his head was shaved. Mormons aren't supposed to watch R-rated movies. Maybe that's why they thought they could get away with it. And the church at first came down on Mormon men for shaving their heads. because it was sort of an anti-full beard and long hair thing that the church also had condemned. The days of Brigham Young are over. We're now mafia clean cut. That's the style. And yeah, now you just have to be clean in your appearance. If you have a beard, it's got to be, brushed. But yeah, my grandmother said that she saw Jesus in the temple. She told her bishop that. I saw Jesus in the temple. Full beard, long. Jesuses, they all look the same. And so yeah, as a Mormon, I'm thinking, oh, okay, so we're resurrected in a perfect form, and Jesus has, the full beard, long hair. Does that mean that I won't be shaving anymore? I'm going to be forced to have the full beard thing and the long hair? These are the conundrums that we Mormon youth go through. All because of an incorrect belief system gets thrown in our path. That we don't get taught truth with science and with logical argument. We end up spouting off fallacies. And we just are clueless that we're lying to people. That we're lying to ourselves and taking away other people's agencies. And so, yeah, I can't promise you Zion, guys, if you don't even believe in it. You've rejected Zion of Joseph Smith. The time has passed. The wedding feast is over. You guys are now the foolish virgins. You didn't have any oil in your lamps. You didn't have the reserve oil in your lamps. You're still waiting for him to come, not knowing he already came, and you missed it. We're all gonna die. That's my concern. But, Travis, your beliefs are wrong. Our beliefs are true. And when you're wrong, that means we're right. Fallacy! Even Christians fall for that fallacy. They love to destroy the Mormon church because they think that means Christianity is therefore automatically true. Mormons, likewise, do it with ex-Mormons. Oh, see, we took you down a rabbit hole and you fell for it. Our church is true now. Dear God, do you not see what's going on? They're going to destroy the world. We're all going to die. There will be no Zion now. And you guys are fighting over ridiculous things. You're believing the most absurd of things, expecting that miracle Jesus is going to fix everything and make everything happy for you. That you don't have to do anything on your part. And you turn Joseph Smith into a Christian believing in Jesus. Dear God. But again, we grow up in the church being told that from our youth.